Hi, everybody. I'm Alice K. Ruckelhaus from SufferingWell, and we've been talking about the Rosary. We've talked about the mysteries of the Rosary. And so today, and for several other days, probably scattered throughout this series, I want to talk to you about some different ways that you can use the mysteries of the Rosary. Those mysteries are there, but it's like, how are you going to incorporate those into the Rosary? So today I want to share about seeing the various mysteries of the Rosary from Mary's perspective. And sometimes I actually do this with other people's perspectives too, like the Apostle John. So for example, if I am meditating on the Ascension, I might say the entire decade, and I'm speaking to Mary, obviously, so I'm seeing this from her perspective. I'm talking to her, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, and so on. But I'm picturing her and me at this particular event, this particular mystery. So let's take, for example, the Ascension. Okay, that's one of my favorite ones to meditate on this way. I like to think of going up the mountain with Mary and the disciples and Jesus. Okay, we don't know what he's going to do. He's just asked us to all come up the mountain with him. And usually, I don't know, this is kind of weird, but when I see myself with Mary, I see myself as a little girl. I'm 62 years old, but I see myself as a little girl. And yet I also have had the experiences that I've had as a 62-year-old woman. So, for example, the experiences from my past, from my marriages, from losing my husband, from other things, different sorrows or joys or whatever, those are all there. And they sometimes come into play with this contemplation. And so, and contemplation is something that many great Christians have done throughout history, where they've kind of put themselves into a scene like Jesus' baptism, and what would that be like to be there? And what if he called me to get into the water with him or something? So with the Ascension, I imagine myself, I'm holding on to Mary's hand because she's a lot bigger than me. And we're walking together and we're going to see Jesus. He's going to tell us something important. We don't know what. And so I think through the things that he talked to his disciples about. He told them to wait in Jerusalem and to pray until the Comforter came. He told them to go into all the world and preach the gospel. He told them to baptize people in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Then, after some conversation, I imagine, and this is just my imagination, you guys, this is not in the Bible, but Jesus loved his mother, obviously. So I imagine him asking her and the Apostle John to come apart. Because, of course, you know that at the cross, he gave Mary to John and he gave John to Mary. And John took care of Mary. So I imagine Jesus pulling them aside and he talks to them a little bit. And then he kind of motions to John to go away so that he can just spend some time with his mother. And I'm still there with her. She's still holding my hand. I'm not really part of the scene, but I get to be privy to it. And so I imagine Jesus just taking her in his arms and hugging her. And then she puts her hands on his cheeks and she says, "Oh, my son, I'm so proud of you. I love you so much." And he says, "Mom, I'm going to go. I'm going to go up to heaven, but I'll see you soon." And she nods her head and says, I know, son." And they hug each other and he kisses her on her forehead. I don't know why. That's just how I imagine it. And then she backs up with John and they're watching, and Jesus suddenly begins to ascend into heaven. So that's how I imagine the Ascension. One of the benefits of meditating on a mystery this way or contemplating it is because by putting yourself into that situation, it becomes more personal and more real. It's no longer a story. It's something that, in a way, you've almost witnessed yourself. So that's really special. Tomorrow, or maybe the next day, I'm going to read to you something that I wrote about one of my contemplations like this, about the Annunciation. And so that you can have a little bit more of an example of how I do this in my mind. So if you have a good imagination, that's something that you might want to do as far as incorporating the mysteries into your rosary. And you can do that with all 5 mysteries for that day, or just do it with one and then briefly think about the others. But I do that as I'm praying the Hail Marys. You could do it before you pray the Hail Marys, pray the Hail Mary after you've had that little time of contemplation. Kind of depends on how much your mind can juggle. Women tend to be able to think of more things at once than men do, and that's fine. That's just how God made us. So just do whatever works for you. But that's one idea. There are lots and lots of ideas of how you can incorporate the mysteries into your rosary. That's just one of them. If you have any ways that you want to share that you incorporate the mysteries into your rosary, we'd love to hear them, no matter how simple they are, no matter how complicated. It would just be really cool to be able to share those ideas with others. You can share them in the comments below, or if you'd like to get on a video with me and share it, let me know. I would love to do that. I hope that blesses you. I love you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.